Fantasia shows something that too many experts miss, and that is that creativity, brilliance alone doesn't create clarity. No, direction does.
Pour a cup of clarity, sip a spark of insight. Coffee with Karma, your morning feels just right.
Direction turns movement into meaning. When your ideas are orchestrated instead of just scattered, then your authority becomes easier to see, easier to understand, and easier to trust. I'm going to share with you 3 lessons from the iconic film Fantasia about creativity and structure. Hi, my name is Carma Spence, and I help established experts write the right book that drives business growth rather than just sitting on a digital shelf collecting digital dust. It works for your business by attracting in your ideal dreamy clients, your ideal dreamy speaking opportunities, your ideal dreamy partners, and drives business growth. If you're watching this video on YouTube, please like this video, comment below, share it with others, and subscribe to this channel because when you do those things, YouTube realizes that this video and others like it are perfect for people like you who want to grow their business with books. So let's get to those 3 lessons. The first step is that without a conductor, even brilliance can sound chaotic. Your ideas can be strong individually. This idea, this idea, this idea, this idea, each one brilliant, strong, wonderful. But if they don't have a unifying structure, something happens and they start competing rather than reinforcing each other. A strategic book acts like a conductor of your ideas. It helps you align your thinking so that your authority sounds intentional instead of scattered. And honestly, I've learned this in my own life because a lot if you if you had nothing better to do and wanted to go through years of my social media, who would do that? But if you did, you would see that I'm thinking this idea, then I'm thinking that idea. And it's like and I used to do this when I was at work. I would suddenly just get something would happen in my head, and I'd scurry next door to where my friend worked, and I'd say, blah, blah, blah. This is part of having an ADD brain. The ideas are scattered. But once I started working on a book about some of those scattered ideas, it coalesced them, made them understandable, made them make sense. This book right here organized all my thoughts about public speaking. In this book, it is clear, it has a cohesive through line. It helped coalesce my ideas about public speaking. This other book, Home Sweet Homepage, coalesced my ideas about designing a homepage so that it draws in your readers. The book I'm working on now, which is Author Ignition, it's all about using AI ethically for authors. That is coalescing I mean, I've been deeply thinking about AI for authors for over a year now. I mean, first there was, well, I've probably been thinking about it even longer because I started using AI, like consciously using AI in 2023, 2024, somewhere around there. And then chat came out and I really dove in and I did some really messy experiments with AI where like the results were just awful. By doing this, by iterating, by experimenting, by throwing spaghetti at the wall to see if it sticks, I have come up with what are my core ideas. And now that I'm working on this book, it's really helping me fine tune what is it? What is it that I believe? What is the framework that I follow? Heck, just doing this, and I might turn this one into a book too, the craft framework, because I am so impressed with myself on that one. I'm just like, how did I do that? It just fell together. Anyway, when you build frameworks. When you pull things together in a book, it helps you coalesce your thought. It helps you conduct the orchestra of your ideas. Number 2, structure turns creativity into something memorable. Okay? So I'm in case you hadn't noticed, I'm kind of wildly creative. I mean, I cook. I have 2 cookbooks. I, um make things pretty. Like when I worked at a bookstore, I became in charge of designing the window displays because I would do really creative things. I remember one year when It came out by Stephen King, my boss had accidentally bought way too many. We had crates of this book. She's like, I don't know what to do with it. Let's put it in the window, do something creative. So what I ended up doing, the cover had this like little hand coming out of the sewer. And what I did is we had some posters, right? I took a box, made it look kinda like that sewer, and then cut out one of those little hands and had it coming out of the box, and then stacked the books around it so that it kinda built in this sort of cave-like feeling. My boss loved it. It actually did sell probably about a quarter of those books, at least, because people would walk by and go, "Oh, that's interesting. I should check that out." I was a belly dancer for several years. And I was really good friends with my teacher, and I helped her do the backdrop. In fact, I eventually she just handed it over to me, and I designed these giant, like, gold and silver palm trees and the curtains, and I mean, they were some of her ideas, but I would take her ideas and I'd make it happen. I love doing things that are pretty. It's just who I am. So, wildly I really went off the went off the rail there. In other words, I'm creative, and so sometimes that creativity shows up as chaos. Books help me rein that in, and they can help rein in your ideas as well, and also giving that creativity a structure, like superheroes for public speaking. Giving that creativity structure makes it memorable. So creativity alone is interesting. Sure, it's interesting that I made this it thing and then I made the silver palm trees, and those are interesting things, but what does that mean? What does it do? Structure makes it stick. Structure makes it stick. So if you take your wild creativity and no matter what you think, you have wild creativity. It just may be tamed wild creativity. It may be hidden wild creativity. We all have creativity. It is human nature. So there you go. That is my theory and I'm sticking to it. When your ideas follow a deliberate sequence, which this video apparently is not doing. People can track your thinking and they remember your message and they can repeat it to others. Craft. You interact with craft. Craft is it's clarify, repurpose, amplify, focus, and tweak and tune. There's the Karma code. I actually made my name into a code. Creativity, authenticity, relationships, mindset, action. When you have an acronym, which organizes your creativity, it's easier to remember. All right, number 3. When everything plays at once, nothing stands out. And as experts, we're all experiencing this because of AI. People are pouring out more and more content saying the same damn thing. How do you stand out? And this can happen to within your own business, within your own head. Too many ideas shared at the same volume dilute your authority. A focused book forces prioritization. That gives your strongest idea the lead so that the rest support instead of overwhelm. So, pulling this all together, yes, you are creative, but give that creativity structure so that it's easier to communicate and easier for your audience to remember. And when they understand it and they remember it, they're more likely to trust it. So there you go. 3 lessons from the fantastic film Fantasia. I'll be back in my next video with a new topic. I haven't picked it out yet. So I will see you then. Until then, this is Karma saying ciao for now.
Bloopers!
Good morning and welcome to Coffee with Car. That's why I don't wear my glasses. You can see my lights. Look at that. Ooh, okay. That's very distracting, so I'm going to take them off. May not be distracting to you, but it's distracting to me and cuz I'm looking at me while I'm doing this so that I know I always stay in camera. Oh well. Eh, the world of karma. Before I do that, I just need to share a little Fantasia story. I don't know. Do you have a Fantasia story? If you do, put it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. I remember I was a kid still. I think I was like maybe 10, 11, 12, somewhere around there. And my family went to Disneyland. And my father said to me and my little sister, you can have one thing. And so I thought, what do I want? And what I chose was the soundtrack to Fantasia. And part of the reason why I chose that is because I knew my dad liked classical music. And I thought if I choose something he likes, then he'll be proud of me or he'll think better of me or whatever. I was a kid. But I love that album. I still have it in storage somewhere. And of course, now I have the film on DVD. The music was amazing. And I do have the second Fantasia that came out like decades later. Not as good. Not as good in animation and like even not as good in music, which is weird. But anyway, that's my Fantasia story. That's why this doing this episode kind of resonated with me. I hope it helps you as well.